Hey everybody, I'm Reload. How's it going? The Crimson Harvest is upon us and I'm about to do some Blood Raider Gauntlets in my Alpha clone. This is my Gallente clone, so I'll be flying the Vexor, but the clone is not well trained by any stretch of imagination. So fingers crossed we won't have too many problems running these sites. I will put the fit of the ship in the description, but believe me, this is not the best fit available. I just had to make do with whatever skills that I have trained so far on this clone. So let's take a look here. This is just me flying through my very first site in a Gallente Alpha clone. So the very first room is going to be tough, especially for an Alpha clone, I think, because you jump in right away. Even if you jump at distance, the frigates will actually get to you pretty quickly. And then they web you, and then you are totally screwed. Currently, because we are working against the Blood Raiders here, I have the Thermal Hardener and the EM Hardener for my armor. And it looks like I'm actually tanking this no problem. Oh, this is fun. I was playing these on my Confessor, my tactical destroyer, on a live stream just yesterday. There was a few hairy situations where I almost got in trouble, but I pulled through. With the Alpha clone, you would have a lot less margin for error in this case, especially when it comes to triggers of the waves. For example, the next wave will actually have a cruiser in it, and it is the ship that you really should not destroy. Okay, let's make sure that my drones are actually, factually, are focusing fire. There we go. I have never used this character before for any sort of PvE, so this is interesting. And I'm glad that the fit holds. Like I said, this is probably the worst fit that I've done, particularly since I am completely not trained for medium weapons. What I had to do is fit some small hybrid turrets here. That's the best I could. But what I want to show is that even if your Alpha clone cannot properly fit a ship, you should hopefully be able to run through these sites. And so far it looks good. Okay, let me stop wasting my cap, because I am not cap stable either. I have about 4 or 5 minutes before my capacitor runs out. So this was using my hobgoblins. In the next wave I will try to actually use my hammerheads, just to see if we have a better DPS. Okay, so here comes the next wave. This is the cruiser that you really should not target until the very end, so if you are using drones, be careful. Okay, let's go with the hammerheads this time. And you know what, hammerheads are not doing too badly. In fact, they are doing a lot more damage if they actually hit the ship. So you know what, I would suggest you do use the hammerhead. Nope, see what's happening here? The drones automatically go towards the cruiser, so you have to make sure that you manage drone aggro as well. From here on in, it's a pretty simple grind, just making sure that you destroy all of the waves in succession. If you start getting in a situation where you are actually running out of capacitor, make sure you start pulsing your armor repairer. That means you activate it and deactivate it right away, so that the next cycle does not begin the moment the previous one ends. That will save you on a little bit of cap. Just like that, we recalled our drones, and now we'll be able to use the acceleration gate. The next room will contain a few more waves, exclusively of the Blood Raider cruisers, followed by the last wave that's comprised of the battle cruiser, frigate, and a cruiser. If everybody is destroyed, there is a chance that a battleship will warp in along with a few more cruisers. but the chance of that is rare in high sec. It's much higher in low sec. Okay, so here we are in the second room. Might as well target everything that you see. We're going to deploy our hammerheads. And you know what, let's start orbiting this. The next wave in this room is triggered by killing the last ship of the current wave. So we now actually have a contestant in this side, a Proteus. I'm not sure if this will, well actually yes, you know what, this will pose a bit of a danger for me in a way that I will likely not be able to claim the reward from the battlecruiser, because the Proteus will be able to output a lot more damage than I can, and it's top damage that wins the wreck. At the very least, I will approach the battlecruiser and see what was inside the wreck. Likely it's gonna be the Cerebral Accelerator and a booster. Now, even though the DPS now is not on me, the second room is not really that dangerous when it comes to incoming damage. So as long as you can survive the first room, you'll be good to go for the second one. So now I'm going to position myself closer to the warping point of the battlecruiser just to get a bit of an advantage. Hopefully I'll be able to activate my hybrid weapons on that ship and get just a little bit more DPS, even though I know Proteus will likely out-damage me. Here is the battlecruiser. And yeah, the Proteus is doing a lot more damage on it than I ever can. But we're gonna check out what's in the wreck. At least a quick glimpse. And yes, I did not win it. Yeah, the guy took it pretty quickly. That was the Crimson Harvest Accelerator, Cerebral Accelerator, and a booster. That's the typical drop that you will have in this case. But there's still a chance of a battleship spawn, so let's see if that will happen on this side. And the last frigate is down. It doesn't look like the battleship will be appearing. But that's expected. The battleship spawn is a lot more rare in high sec than it is in low sec. So if you want almost guaranteed battleship spawn, you have to go to low sec. So that's the Blood Raider Gauntlets from the yearly Crimson Harvest. The first room is the toughest one to get through. Make sure you do not destroy the trigger in that second wave, the cruiser. Leave it alone until the end. And the second room should not pose you any problems whatsoever. Whatever faction you are as the Alpha clone, make sure you fly a cruiser and fit it to resist the EM and thermal damage, whether you are armor tank or shield tank. Also, I highly recommend an active tank as opposed to the passive one. And go to low sec or below if you want a higher chance of the battleship spawn. I'm Reload, wishing you a good Crimson Harvest.